Under the terrifying god spirit pressure, even the 2 million kobold soldiers of the Netherbark army also trembled, even though they were under less pressure under Sakomo's intentional protection. Their speed back to the black flying ship could not help but slow down a lot. In front of Sakomo, the 9 million soldiers who were deliberately targeted suffered the pressure of all the gods of death. However, what Sakomo found unbelievable was that the 9 million soldiers in front of it did not seem to be affected by the pressure of the gods that ordinary races could not resist. They did not seem to feel much. This human lord is indeed not easy to deal with. Sakomo's expression was solemn. This human lord definitely had some special methods up his sleeve. On the 9 million soldiers' side, Zhou looked at the god of death, which was 10,000 meters tall, with a solemn expression. Then, he seemed to have seen through something and his frown relaxed slightly. It's not the real god of death. It should only be a divine power projection. He heaved a sigh of relief. He had the secret inheritance of the dragon race in his mind, so he could easily see through this method. This should be the other party's hero skill, god of death descend. Strong. However, it would be an exaggeration to say that it is super strong. He glanced at his soldiers. The soldiers and other professionals in his territory were all Dragon Slayer and were naturally immune to high-level bloodline pressure. God spirits could essentially be seen as a high-level bloodline, and it was an extremely high-level bloodline. Therefore, the pressure of the god of death's divine power projection was also immune to his subjects. Towards this, Zhou was not worried that his subjects would be exposed as Dragon Slayers. There were many methods in the myriad worlds that were immune to the pressure of high-level bloodline god spirits after all. The unique thing about the dragon-slaying will was that it was not immune to the pressure of a high-level bloodline, and could also increase its strength by up to 2 levels while being immune. Green bronze tier to yellow gold tier. This was the most abnormal thing about the dragon-slaying will. As long as his soldiers did not reveal their ability to increase their strength greatly at the same time, it was almost impossible for others to guess their Dragon Slayer identity. At this moment, he saw Sakomo suddenly stand up from its cross-legged position. Right on the heels of that, it raised its hands, and a transparent kobold soul emitting a faint white light flew out of its head and fused into the projection of the god of death behind it. After the god of death's projection fused with Sakomo's soul, its strength and pressure suddenly increased, reaching the strength of a legendary tier. At the same time, its form quickly transformed into Sakomo. It opened its blood-red eyes, drew 2 black sabers from its back, and charged towards Zhou's 9 million troops. Seeing this scene, there was no need for Zhou to order. Su En and Guoqiao had already stood up immediately and flew towards Sakomo in the god of death descend state. During the process of flying over, Su En had already transformed into the 10,000-meter-tall Night Rakshasa. In his 3 heads and 6 arms state, he held 6 blood shadow swords and looked like a blood god from hell. At this moment, Guoqiao was also wearing blood-red armor and holding 2 blood-red axes. His aura had already recovered to its peak. He had already completely healed his injuries on the way here under the joint treatment of the 10 legendary tier elementary grade doctors. The current Guoqiao had not only recovered from Diamond tier elementary grade to Epic tier elementary grade at his peak. His strength even broke through again with the help of Bloodbath Song because he had absorbed the divine blood of the god he had killed and directly advanced to the Epic tier advanced grade. Zhou was even more glad that he had obtained the legendary tier ancestral enhancement from the Imperial Ancestral Temple today. If not for the 10 temporary legendary elementary grade doctors provided by the legendary tier ancestral enhancement, he did not know how long it would take him to find a doctor who could treat Guoqiao's injuries. Everyone, attack together. Fight to live or fight to our death. Zhou came back to his senses and ordered. Yes! The 9 million soldiers roared in unison. Then, they immediately launched all kinds of long-range attacks at the huge Sakomo. On the battlefield, when Sakomo, who was in the god of death's descend state, saw Su En, Guoqiao, and the terrifying collective attack behind them, its expression immediately turned serious without too much fear. With a thought, a layer of black skin appeared on the surface of its body, making it look like it was wearing tight light armor. When the 9 million soldiers landed on the black membrane on its body, These attacks seemed to have fallen into water and disappeared. This was one of the 3 pseudo-law skills it had mastered under the God of Death's descent, Divine Power Armor. Even though it was not as powerful as a true law skill, it was not a problem to ignore normal attacks below the epic tier. At this moment, Guiqiao had already rushed in front of him. Dragon Slayer! He roared angrily and slashed down at Tsukumo with both axes in his hands. There was actually faint lightning flapping on the 2 axes, forming an illusory blood-colored axe blade more than 3,000 meters long in the air. Rumble! It was as if a divine lightning had struck. A large hole was actually split open in the black membrane on the surface of Tsukumo's body by the illusory blood-colored axe blade. Black blood gushed out of the wound. Before it could drip onto the ground, it strangely disappeared into the air. Tsukumo was shocked. Who is this guy? Normally speaking, only law skills could deal with law skills. Even if its law skill was only a temporary fake law skill, it shouldn't be so fragile. Why did this guy only use a hero skill to split open the divine power armor formed by its fake law skill? His 2 blades slashed through the crazily slashing Guiqiao until he was 700 to 800 meters away. Then, he hurriedly retreated and lowered his head to look at his wound. The wound on his chest was slowly recovering. It did not recover at an extremely fast speed as it had imagined. This hero skill actually countered its fake law skill so much? Tsukumo looked at Guiqiao with a solemn expression. Could it be that this guy's hero skill was specially used to deal with law skills? At this moment, Guiqiao had already rushed up again. Even though there was a world of difference between their sizes, Guiqiao could release axe blades that were thousands of meters long so he could fight Tsukumo head-on. While fighting, Tsukumo was also observing his surroundings. However, what made its heart solemn was that it did not see where Suin, who had rushed over with Guiqiao, was at all. This shrouded its heart in a layer of gloom. Since you're not coming out, I'll deal with this person in front of me first. A cold glint flashed across its eyes. Then, he slashed open Guiqiao with his saber and put his sabers together. Hero skill, Death Cross Slash. This was originally an ordinary epic tier hero skill. However, in the state of the God of Death descend, it was also tainted with a trace of the aura of the God of Death's divine power and had the weak power of the law of death. Die! A furious roar. A black cross emitting a rich aura of death shot out from its 2 sabers and attacked Guiqiao. Guiqiao also felt that this move was not to be trifled with and prepared to dodge. However, at this moment, Tsukumo suddenly looked deeply at Guiqiao with its blood-red eyes. Fake law skill, Fear of Death. At this moment, Guiqiao felt that there was only this pair of eyes left in the world. Its eyes seemed to contain the ultimate fear of all life forms towards the concept of death. Guiqiao's body stiffened. Then, under Tsukumo's dumbfounded gaze, an extremely fanatical expression actually erupted in his eyes. Talent, Death of Glory. Hero skill, Gods of Dusk. The former could allow him to become stronger the more he died. The latter could ignore any life form, even if the god spirits attached a mental negative buff to it. For example, the ultimate fear from the concept of death in front of him. To Guiqiao, fighting to death in battle with a noble bloodline life form was the way he yearned to die the most. Most life forms might be afraid of such death. However, he thought that this was the best resting place for him. He was naturally not frightened by such a death. Ha ha ha! Guiqiao laughed fanatically. Then, he ignored the cross-shaped blood mark on his heart, as if he could not feel that his heart had stopped beating. He held the sharp axe and slashed at Tsukumo. Hero skill, Dragon-slaying axe technique. The dragons here did not only refer to pure-blooded dragons. It referred to all living beings with noble bloodlines. This was a hero skill specially targeted at noble bloodline life forms. It was also a rather profound combat skill. Tsukumo felt extremely threatened by this hero skill. It held 2 sabers and fought with all its might, but it was suppressed by its exquisite combat skills and was clearly at a disadvantage. More and more wounds appeared on Tsukumo's body. This made its expression extremely ugly. However, in the next second, Guiqiao, who was sent flying, threw the blood axe in his hand over. The blood axe was like lightning, In the blink of an eye, it slashed across his right arm and cut off his black star saber. Even Tsukumo could not help but cry out in pain. This was because it was possessed by a soul. This strike did not slash at its body, but its soul. The latter was 1,000 times more painful than the former. At this moment, an extremely shocking death crisis suddenly descended on his heart. And then, it realized that the sky suddenly darkened. Or rather, it realized that the world it was in had turned black, as if it was enveloped by a black curtain. In this dark world, Tsukumo realized that its perception was greatly restricted. At this moment, a blood shadow suddenly appeared in front of him. It was the Knight Rakshasa sword god, Suin. He slashed gently with his sword, cutting off Tsukumo's left arm. Tsukumo did not have time to think when he saw this. He hurriedly controlled the 2 black star sabers to fly back and slash at Suin in front of him. Suin, who had been struck, actually turned into a blood shadow and disappeared. Another Suin appeared behind Tsukumo and cut off its right leg. After Tsukumo controlled the black star slash to fly over again, he realized that this Suin was also a blood-colored phantom. Suin's blood shadows appeared one after another and quickly disappeared after cutting off a portion of Tsukumo's body. After repeating it for the 9th time, Suin's 9th sword cut off Tsukumo's head. Suin's 9th sword cut off Tsukumo's head. As expected of a believer of the god of death, Suin said calmly when he saw the smile on its face. The dark night screen he had set up disappeared. Then, he saw Guiqiao with an unwilling expression. "You stole my enemy. This is not honorable," he said angrily. His injuries had already recovered with the help of the divine blood. Even his heart, which had stopped beating, began to beat healthily again. Suin said nothing. At this moment, there was no such thing as fairness and glory in his eyes. The most important thing for them was to deal with the target as quickly as possible. Still, this guy was really strong, stronger than him. If not for the fact that he had first cut through the black membrane on the other party's body and caused a flaw in the other party's physical defense, he would not have been able to deal with the other party so easily with the blood shadow kill. It might even be very difficult to achieve this outcome because it was a physical defense formed by a fake law skill. He did not have the same fake law skill or law skill to resist it. He did not even have a hero skill like the dragon-slaying axe technique that specialized in dealing with noble bloodlines. He only had normal attack skills. The Lord has countless experts under his command. Suin sighed. Yesterday, he was still the strongest expert in the Blazing Sun territory. Today, the person this title was referring to had changed. The pressure was really a little high. He did not say anything else and brought Tsukumo's corpse to the Lord's location. As for the 2 million soldiers of the Netherbark army, they had already withdrawn. Tsukumo's death was not in vain. On the other side, Zhou looked at the kill notification in front of him. Your subject butcher Guiqiao, Knight Rakshasa sword god. Suin has killed an epic tier elementary grade death spirit servant. Tsukumo. Obtained promotion energy plus 400 million. Loots condensed. Blessing of the war god. Your subject butcher, Guiqiao, Knight Rakshasa sword god. Suin has obtained an additional 8 billion promotion energy points. Your subject butcher Guiqiao, Knight Rakshasa sword god. Suin's hero biography has been updated. Zhou nodded in satisfaction. These 2 subordinates did not disappoint him. After using the God of Death Descend, the epic tier elementary grade Tsukumo's strength had already reached the legendary tier. Moreover, it was a legendary tier expert who could use pseudo-law skills. However, even such an expert was killed by Suin and Guiqiao. He was really strong, as expected of a talent with reputation rating and mythical reputation rating. Soon, Suin brought Tsukumo's corpse to Zhou, followed closely by Guiqiao. It's because I'm not capable enough to keep the 2 million Netherbark army soldiers alive. Suin lowered his head. Guiqiao also reacted and hurriedly lowered his head. It's fine. You two have already done quite well. Zhou smiled. He really did not care about the 2 million Netherbark Legion soldiers who had escaped. On the contrary, if he killed 2 million Netherbark Legion soldiers and escaped from Tsukumo, he might not be satisfied. The two of them heaved a sigh of relief. Zhou put away Sakomo's corpse and prepared to retrieve the loots later. Then, he flew to the front of the soldiers and looked at the dark blue divine dragon barrier. Vast Sea Divine Dragon Barrier. It's really a good capital protection facility, Zhou muttered. Then, he looked at the king of the Taiyan kingdom, who was looking at him with a dark expression in the middle of the capital. Taiyan, you've been watching us since we arrived. Have you seen enough? Zhou said calmly. His voice spread throughout a radius of 50 kilometers. His perception was astonishing. When he first arrived, he felt a burning gaze from the capital. At a glance, he knew that this guy was the king of the Taiyan kingdom after seeing the monster information. King Taiyan naturally heard it. However, it did not say anything and only looked at it coldly. Zhou did not say anything. His gaze landed on the vast sea divine dragon barrier again, and his heart suddenly skipped a beat. He flipped his right hand, and a diamond-tier advanced grade bow appeared in his hand. Then he drew the bow. The chaotic origin energy in his body surged out, forming a chaotic arrow on the bow. Bang! The bow was like a thunderbolt. The chaotic arrow turned into a chaotic stream of light and landed on the vast sea divine dragon barrier in the blink of an eye. Creak! The arrow was embedded deep in the barrier. Then, cracks quickly spread in all directions with its landing point as the center. Rumble! Under the dumbfounded gazes of everyone and the monsters, the vast sea divine dragon barrier that the 2 million Nether Bark army soldiers had tried their best to attack for such a long time but could not break, actually shattered with a bang. The surrounding people and soldiers fell silent. Everyone's faces were filled with disbelief. A smile appeared on Zhou's face. I didn't expect that a single arrow would trigger the law of shattering. Then, it directly shattered the vast sea divine dragon barrier. I thought I had to shoot at least a dozen arrows. He thought happily. This shattering law was indeed a law. The effect was indeed extraordinary. The protective facilities of a country's capital could not stop it at all. The 10% probability of triggering the law of shattering was already so strong. He wondered how the effect of the instant death law, which only had a 1% trigger rate, would be. At the thought of this, Zhou had the urge to shoot an arrow. His gaze swept across the fog monsters in the capital and finally landed on King Taiyan. Are you willing to surrender? If you're willing to surrender to me with your subjects, I can spare the lives of your monster subjects and let them join my blazing sun territory and become my subjects. Zhou thought for a while and said, the Taiyan king, the surrounding monster subjects, and the other monster subjects who heard Zhou's words were stunned. You want our fog monsters to be your subjects? King Taiyan asked in disbelief. Zhou nodded. Didn't you see the monster soldiers behind me? He pointed at the monster soldiers behind him. King Taiyan and the other monsters fell silent. They did see it. Moreover, what made them feel exaggerated was that this human lord, who had been summoned to the high continent by the supreme resistance, actually had more monster soldiers under his command than ordinary life forms. King Taiyan was silent for a long time before his eyes finally became determined. Our faith in the Crimson Overlord is extremely pure. Don't even think about us surrendering to you, he said with a serious expression. The surrounding monster subjects also looked like they were on the same side and had the same aura. Zhou sneered in his heart. If you are really that loyal, then why are most of the scarlet crystals in your loot's shallow faith tier and true faith tier scarlet crystals? There are pitifully few pious tier and fanatic tier scarlet crystals, let alone Holy Spirit scarlet crystals. You should have seen the difference between us. It's useless to resist. If you don't surrender, only death awaits you. Your king will definitely die, but I can give you scarlet monster subjects a chance. After the battle starts later, as long as you put down your weapons, tie yourself up and surrender, my soldiers won't kill you after the battle. Moreover, when you come to my territory in the future and become my subjects, the other subjects won't look at you strangely. You can enjoy the same rights and obligations as the other subjects. Also, Zhou raised his hand and pointed at the Taiyan king. I will definitely reward whoever can kill King Taiyan. I mean what I say. He was certain. Actually, if not for the fact that it was almost night, he could not be bothered to say such words to persuade them to surrender. He would have directly asked the soldiers to charge. On the other side, King Tian's expression immediately darkened as soon as Zhou Zhou finished speaking. The eyes of the other scarlet officials also flickered. Don't be afraid. It's going to be dark soon. This human lord won't be able to withstand the corrosion of the scarlet fog after dark. He will definitely retreat. King Tian hurriedly comforted the subjects. The subjects replied on the surface, but they were muttering in their hearts. Yes, the human lord would leave at night. But what about tomorrow? What about in the future? It wasn't like the days would continue to be dark, right? They did not say this out loud, but they already had other thoughts. In the sky, when Zhou Zhou saw that the other party had no intention of surrendering, he waved at the soldiers behind him without hesitation. Attack! There's no need to leave anyone alive, he said. Yes, the 9 million soldiers roared. Then, under the lead of the generals, they rushed towards the capital. At this moment, there were less than 100,000 soldiers in the capital to begin with. This was because the other soldiers had already been sent to Left Guardian City to fight the Titan army. Now, they had all been dealt with by Zhou Zhou. Therefore, the current capital of the Tian Kingdom was almost equivalent to an undefended city without the vast Sea Divine Dragon barrier. As the soldiers attacked, the situation on the battlefield was almost one-sided towards Zhou Zhou. During this period, Zhou Zhou also tried to trigger the instant death law. In the end, he only triggered it once after shooting nearly 200 arrows. After the fog monster with the bare body and dog head triggered the law of instant death, its entire body fell to the ground. Even its soul disappeared. This made Zhou Zhou sigh. What a terrifying instant death law. A moment later, the capital was captured by Zhou Zhou's soldiers. King Tian and all its important subjects were captured by the experts of the Blazing Sun territory. Heaven Blood Hall. Zhou Zhou sat casually at the place where the Tian king and his subjects had discussed the state affairs in the past. Below were the important subjects of the Tian kingdom who were being detained. At the front of them was a corpse. It was the corpse of King Tian. This king who had ruled the Tian kingdom for nearly 100 years could not escape the fate of being stabbed in the back by his subordinates. Zhou Zhou's gaze landed on a fog monster with purplish-red skin and a slender body. It had 2 sharp antennae on its head and was wearing a purple minister's outfit. That was it. When King Tian was not paying attention, a dagger stabbed into his back and ended his life. Then, it immediately bound itself and pretended to surrender obediently. That was why it was still alive. What's your name? What's your position? Zhou Zhou asked with interest. Reporting to my lord. My name is Cecil. In the past, I was a second-grade clothes officer in charge of Tian's daily life. Cecil hurriedly flattered. You did well to assassinate King Tian. I won't go back on my word. From now on, you are my lord's subject. When I officially control the entire Tian kingdom, you can choose a territory below the yellow gold tier from many territories as your territory and become the lord of the territory. In the future, as long as you don't violate the laws of our Blazing Sun territory and do what the city lord of your territory should do, you will continue to be the city lord of your territory. Zhou Zhou said, Thank you for the reward, your majesty. I will definitely bear the responsibility of the city lord well and not disappoint your majesty. When Cecil heard Zhou Zhou's words, its eyes immediately became loyal and excited. It immediately knelt on the ground and said excitedly and respectfully. Zhou Zhou nodded. Then, his gaze landed on these subjects of the Tian kingdom. There were a total of more than 50 fog monsters. He sized them up one by one while checking their attribute information. Facing the human lord's gaze, the scarlet officials trembled slightly with terrified expressions, afraid that they would do something to displease this human lord. However, there were also monster subjects who were looking forward to it while feeling terrified. Cecil's example proved that this human lord really did not care about their identity as monsters. They could survive and might even be placed in an important position by this human lord. A moment later, Zhou Zhou retracted his gaze and was a little happy. These fog monster subjects were indeed extraordinary to be able to become King Tian's subordinates here. He had just looked at their attribute information and realized that none of their professional levels were lower than the extraordinary tier. The lowest was at the extraordinary tier elementary grade. There was even an epic tier intermediate grade blacksmith. Its official position in the Tian Kingdom was a weapons refinement officer. It was in charge of refining high-quality weapons and equipment. Their potential was also quite good. Most of them had extraordinary tier and epic tier potential. Moreover, Zhou also discovered 3 monster generals with legendary tier potential. These were all the strange talents accumulated by the Tian Kingdom in the past 100 years. They were all his now. I want to obtain a large number of high-level professionals to satisfy the requirements to upgrade my territory. Capturing a kingdom-level lord faction is the fastest. You're all people who have already taken the initiative to surrender. You should be willing to be my subjects, right? His gaze landed on these monster subjects and he asked calmly. Yes, of course. We're very willing to be the Lord's subjects. After hearing Zhou's words, these monster subjects hurriedly replied. Then work hard in my territory in the future. As long as you can work hard here and make up for your mistakes. You've worked for King Tian here in the past and even studied how to deal with us. I'll pretend that nothing happened. If you do well, I won't mistreat you. Zhou said calmly. Thank you, my lord. The monster subjects could not help but be overjoyed. Then they said gratefully. Zhou watched this scene calmly. If not for his lord talent, peace and prosperity, he would probably have killed these fog monsters in front of him like other normal lords of all races. The fog monsters and the life forms of all races were natural mortal enemies. Which fog monster was really willing to submit to the lords of all races? Just like how the fog monsters rarely took the life forms of all races as captives. He did not think too much about it. His gaze landed on the corpse of the Tian king in front of him. Monster information appeared. Item name. Tian's corpse. Kingdom level Scarlet Lord. Item level. Extraordinary tier advanced grade item effect. Contains unextracted loots. Item description. The corpse of the current king of the Tian Kingdom. When he was alive, he made many important decisions for the development of the Tian Kingdom with his astonishing sense of smell and decisiveness. However, it had also caused many major losses to the Tian Kingdom because he trusted his sense of smell too much. Overall, he could be considered a wise lord. After the capital was breached by the Lord of the Blazing Sun's army, he was assassinated by the clothes officer below. Loot's drop rate, 100 extraordinary tier mist cores, drop rate, 100%, 500 origin crystals, drop rate, 100%, 1 special outfits Black Dragon's prestige, drop rate, 15%, 1 special equipment King Gem, drop rate, 10%, 1 special tier skill book, King Technique, drop rate, 10%, 1 epic tier elementary grade Vast Sea Divine Dragon Barrier, drop rate, 8%, 1 pious tier Scarlet Crystals, drop rate, 3%, 1 extraordinary tier Scarlet Lord Talent Sphere, drop rate, 0%, 6 extraordinary tier elementary grade Lord Talent Crystal Fragment, 0%. Zhou walked over and placed his hand on the corpse before starting to extract it. Lord Talent Notification. Your loots have been enhanced by the King of Loots. Perfect loots. Grade +1. Title hint. Your loots have been affected by the title of the strongest lord. The number of loots has increased by 150%. Lord Talent Notification. You have obtained perfect loots, 250 mist cores, epic tier, 1,500 origin crystals, 3 Emperor Dragon Sacred Robes, special tier, 3 Emperor Gems, special tier, 3 Emperor Heart Technique skill books, special tier, 1 legendary tier elementary grade Sun Moon Heavenly Barrier, 1 Scarlet Crystals, fantastic tier, 1 Lord Talent Sphere, epic tier, 15 Lord Talent Crystal Fragments, epic tier. With a thought, he put away the loots that had yet to drop on the ground into his spatial ring. Even with Zhou's usually calm mentality, He could not help but look happy when he saw the loots in the spatial ring. The effect of the strongest lord of all races and the strongest lord of all races increasing the number of loots by 150% was too strong. It directly turned the original 6 extraordinary tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments into 15 epic tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments. With so many Lord Talent Crystal Fragments, he could synthesize an epic tier Lord Talent Sphere to awaken a new epic tier Lord Talent or upgrade an extraordinary tier Lord Talent to the epic tier. Not to mention the epic tier Lord Talent provided by Taean. Awesome! He sat on the throne again and ignored the monster subjects who were still waiting for him to speak. He checked the loots. There was naturally no need to mention the mist cores and origin crystals. He looked at the clothes of the 3 yellow gold tier dragons that were completely golden and had an extremely dignified yellow gold tier dragon swimming on the surface. The yellow gold tier dragon was lifelike and looked like it was real. A text notification appeared. Outfit name: Emperor Dragon Robe. Outfit grade: Special tier. Outfits effect 1. Emperor Dragon Prestige. A life form wearing the Emperor Dragon Robe will emit an invisible Emperor's prestige with every move, making countless life forms revere him. At the same time, he can ignore the pressure type ability exerted on him by any life form and take the initiative to counterattack. Set attribute 2. Emperor Dragon Disposition. Life forms wearing the Emperor Dragon Robe can easily obtain the active loyalty of other life forms and gradually increase the loyalty of the surrounding people. Set attribute 3. Emperor Dragon Protection. When a living being wearing the Emperor Dragon Robe is attacked, the soul of the Emperor Dragon attached to the Emperor Dragon Robe will automatically defend against this attack and can take the initiative to counterattack to a certain extent. Set attribute 3. Emperor Dragon Transformation. Life forms wearing the Emperor Dragon Emperor Robe can change their clothes, body, and face to any form on the surface. At the same time, they can also hide their stats information. Life forms below the true god tier can't see through the changes in the Emperor Dragon Emperor Robe. Introduction. The Emperor Dragon, a legendary dragon born from the providence of the Emperor. Legendary tier: every life form wearing the yellow gold tier Emperor Dragon Robe will become the world's attention-grabbing emperor in the future. Good outfit. Jojo's eyes lit up. From the name and effect, he knew that this outfit was for the Lord. Just in time. The new wind ceremony he used to wear could no longer keep up with him. It was the perfect time to change into a new set. Moreover, there were a total of 3 Emperor Dragon Robes, so he could change them as and when. Jojo took out one and put it on. A large number of notifications appeared in front of him. These people and monsters that had increased their loyalty were the ones looking at him in this hall. A top-grade outfit. Jojo sighed. Jojo looked at the second special loots. They were 3 12-faced gems that emitted a golden light. Treasure name: Emperor's Gem. Treasure grade: Special tier, Treasure effect. It can be used to trade and obtain a large number of mist cores. It is also a collectible. It can also be embedded in the equipment to decorate the equipment when forging equipment. Treasure description: The Emperor of Gems is the most precious gem below the God tier gem. It is often used by life forms to collect or decorate. If you sell it, you will obtain a large number of mist cores. Trade? Collectible? Decoration? So it's just a collectible? Jojo shook his head. He was not very interested in such things and would hand it over to the mysterious caravan later and see if he could sell it. Then he looked at the next loots. The Emperor Heart Technique. Skill name: Emperor Heart Technique. Skill quality: Special tier, Skill description. After using it, the user will gradually understand and master the path of an emperor in the future when dealing with the territory's matters. He will gradually become a qualified, outstanding, and even legendary emperor. Note: this skill can only be learned by the Lord. There's actually such a skill book? Jojo was shocked. It did not seem to have any active effect, but if it could really allow him to gradually master the path of the emperor while dealing with the territory's matters as it described, it was indeed the skill that Jojo needed the most now. Jojo had only become a lord for a short time. He did not know much about what many lords should understand. This was also why he handed most of the territory's matters to Zhang Yuanqi, since he did not know how to deal with the territory problems. Only someone like Zhang Yuanqi, who had been the prime minister of the Aurora Kingdom for many years, could handle these territorial matters with his own hands. However, this method could only resolve it for a while. Could not be resolved for the time being. Zhou had to come into contact with, understand, and master the way to deal with the territory sooner or later. In particular, he was about to establish the number one kingdom of the human race on the cerulean planet and become the monarch of a country. He needed to increase his ability in this aspect even more. He could not just rely on Zhang Yuanqi to do it. Otherwise, his subjects might suspect something over time. Was the Lord of the Blazing Sun Zhang Yuanqi or him? Zhou could not let such a thing happen. Therefore, he had to understand and master the way to deal with the territory's matters. This Emperor Heart technique was indeed the skill he lacked the most at the moment. Zhou did not hesitate and took out the book to learn. Soon, this Emperor Heart technique skill book turned into countless golden light spots and surged into his glabella. At this moment, Zhou felt memories of countless emperors dealing with political matters, military affairs, people's livelihoods, extraordinary humans, monsters, god spirits, and other national matters surge into his mind. There were too many of them. In the end, only a small portion of the memories were completely grasped by Zhou. The remaining emperor's memories were all hidden in the deepest part of his memories, waiting for him to gradually dig, use, and master them in the future. Zhou opened his eyes. The temperament on his body quietly changed. Under the hall, when the ministers saw the current Zhou, for some reason, their bodies tensed up. They did not dare to have any thoughts of disobeying, as if they were facing an emperor who had accumulated the might of an emperor for 10,000 years. If previously Zhou had accumulated a little of the dignity and aura of a superior in his 20-odd days as a lord, then now Zhou seemed to have become a big shot who had been in power for a long time in the eyes of everyone. It was even more terrifying than that. What's wrong with my lord? Why do I suddenly feel like he's a different person? It's simply like an ignorant young man who has just been born suddenly becoming a big shot with high authority. Bai Yun, who was closest to Zhou, looked at him in surprise. Wu Xian looked at Zhou with shining eyes. Unbelievable. This aura and gaze. He's many times stronger than Li Yuangon. My lord. He seems to have suddenly grown a lot. His eyes were filled with relief. It was naturally a good thing for subordinates like them to have such a lord as their lord. On the throne, Zhou was also savoring his current feelings and the emperor's memories that he had just digested. Even though it's not a powerful attack skill or support skill, it can only be considered a passive skill at most. However, this Emperor Heart technique is simply too useful to me. It's indeed the skill I need the most at this stage. Zhou was very happy. From now on, he was no longer afraid of dealing with the territory's matters. On the contrary, he was even a little eager to give it a try after grasping so many emperor memories. There's no hurry. The kingdom is about to be established. When the time comes, there will be places for me to show my abilities. Zhou thought to himself. In addition, he was not the only one who wanted to test his ability to deal with government affairs. In the depths of his memories, the more comprehensive memories of the emperor also needed him to awaken them one by dealing with the territory's matters. If he could only be considered a qualified emperor now, then, if he wanted to grow to the level of being outstanding, and even the most powerful emperor in history, he had to deal with daily territory matters and master the emperor's memories hidden in his subconscious. After he completely grasped the memories of the emperors, it would not be an extravagant hope to become in existence at the same level as the one emperor of all ages. After a long time, he calmed down from obtaining the Emperor's Heart technique and looked at the next loots. It was a fist-sized circular light barrier. This light barrier was like Taiji and was divided into a black and a white light. The black light represented the night. On the surface, there was a sun-moon star that was slowly moving according to the circulation pattern. The white light represented daytime. On the surface, there was a sun that was also moving slowly according to the circulation pattern. It was the quality of the vast sea divine dragon barrier plus 1 loots. Sun-moon heavenly barrier. Treasure name: Sun and Moon Heavenly Barrier. Treasure grade: Legendary tier elementary grade. Treasure effect: Sun and Moon cycle. After activation, it can absorb the light elemental energy and dark elemental energy from the outside world as the energy reserve of the Sun and Moon Heavenly Barrier. It is used for daily maintenance. There is no need for additional external energy replenishment. Treasure effect: Sun-Moon Heavenly Blessing. After activation, it can resist the attack energy of the outside world. It can completely defend against legendary tier elementary grade attacks. The upper limit of its defense is equivalent to a controller's strength realm +1. Treasure effect: Heart of Sun and Moon. The energy density in the air has increased by 1000% within a radius of 1000 kilometers of the Sun and Moon Heaven Barrier. Treasure effect: Sun and Moon Revolving. The treasure controller can adjust the day and night changes of the Sun and Moon as heavenly cover by consuming the reserve of light and darkness energy, thereby increasing their strength. Only legendary tier elementary grade and below allies. Daytime: increases the strength of the Sun and Moon in the Heaven Barrier by an additional 30%. During the moonlit night, increases the damage reduction by an additional 30% in the Sun and Moon Heaven Barrier. Sun and Moon in the Sky: increases the strength of the Sun and Moon in the Sky Barrier by an additional 30% and reduces additional damage by 30%. Note: after activating the Sun and Moon Heavenly Barrier, it will greatly consume the energy reserves of the Sun and Moon Heavenly Barrier. Treasure description: a special military formation treasure created by the Sun and Moon Taoist after imitating an ancient array formation. After failing, he traded it. Later, it was obtained by the king of the Taiyan Kingdom and was treated as a treasure to protect the country. Unrecognized. A military formation treasure? Zhou muttered to himself. He had heard of such a treasure from Wu Xian. Such military formation treasures did not need the user to have any understanding of military formations. As long as the energy in their bodies could drive the treasure, they could directly use the military formation engraved in the treasure. It was a shortcut for generals who were unwilling to learn military formations but needed them to fight. If I directly placed the Sun and Moon Heaven Barrier on the battlefield and activated the Sun and Moon Heaven Barrier during battle, I can directly increase the strength of my soldiers by 30%. Zhou was very satisfied with the effect of this treasure. Most importantly, it could be stacked with the 100% additional strength increase and 50% additional damage reduction of the title of the Strongest Lord, which meant his soldiers could almost immediately increase their strength by 130% and reduce additional damage by 80% on the battlefield with the enhancement of the title of the Strongest Lord and the Sun and Moon together. The soldiers' combat strength and life-saving abilities would be greatly enhanced. Then, when he saw the words unclaimed at the back, he chose to let it recognize him as its master without hesitation. Zhou put it away after that. As for the final epic tier Scarlet Lord Talent Sphere, it was not too late to look at it when he returned. Now he had more important things to do. Do you know where the Kingdom Token is? Zhou asked Ansel. I know. The Kingdom Token is in the King's Temple of the Taiyan Kingdom. That's the most tightly guarded place in the entire capital of the Taiyan Kingdom. Other than the statues of the previous kings of the Taiyan Kingdom, there's also the Kingdom's Golden Tablet. The Kingdom Token is in the Kingdom's Golden Token. Ansel replied respectfully. Take me there. Su and Guichao, you guys come with me. As for the others, clean up the entire palace. Collect and organize the loot here. Zhou said. Yes, Your Majesty. Yes, my lord. Ansel was delighted and immediately said. Su-en and Guichao also nodded respectfully. Then, Ansel brought Zhou, Su-en, and Guichao to the king's temple. Zhou looked at the ferocious, mighty, evil, and cold statues of the Taiyan king in front of him. He walked over calmly, not even interested in taking a look at these statues. They arrived in front of the kingdom's golden tablet in no time. This was a golden stone tablet that was more than 10 meters tall and seemed to emit a mysterious dignity. However, Zhou did not care. There was only excitement and anticipation in his expression. He looked at its endurance. Good God! A total of 10 billion. His white platinum tier intermediate grade territory stone tablet only had 20 million endurance. There was a difference of 50 times. As expected of the kingdom's golden token. Suin, Guichao, break it. Zhou Zhou took a deep breath and said in a low voice. Fortunately, he had Su En and Guichao, two epic tier experts by his side. Otherwise, he would have to go back and find someone to shatter the golden tablet. Yes, my lord. X2 the two of them began to attack the golden stone tablet with all kinds of methods without hesitation. Under the joint attack of the two epic tier experts, the endurance of the kingdom's golden token began to decrease at a speed visible to the naked eye. A moment later, there was a loud bang. The 10-meter-tall kingdom golden tablet collapsed with a bang. The three tokens floated in the original position of the golden tablet. Two of them. One was an extraordinary tier regional token from the capital of the Taiyan Kingdom. The other was the extraordinary tier advanced grade territory token of the Taiyan Kingdom. As for the last token, it was completely golden. It was the extraordinary tier advanced grade kingdom token used by the Taiyan Kingdom when it was founded. Zhou Zhou took a deep breath and walked over. He first put away the territory token and regional token. Then, he looked at the kingdom token and finally placed his hand on it. A text notification appeared. Do you want to collect the kingdom token? Yes, Zhou Zhou said. As soon as he finished speaking, the floating kingdom token seemed to have lost its power and landed in his hand. Then, lines of golden text suddenly appeared in front of Zhou Zhou. It also appeared in front of billions of Cerulean Planet Lords. Cerulean Planet World Channel Lord Announcement. Congratulations to the Lord of the Blazing Sun, becoming the first Lord to break through a kingdom-level Lord faction. Reward: Supreme Treasure Chest +1, Reputation Rating +5. Cerulean Planet World Channel Announcement. Congratulations to the Lord of the Blazing Sun. Cerulean Planet World Channel Announcement. Congratulations to the Lord of the Blazing Sun. Zhou Zhou raised his eyebrows. Is it just a Lord announcement on the Cerulean Planet's entire channel? What a pity. He thought that this matter would trigger the announcement of the Lord of all races on the entire channel again. He thought that this matter would trigger the announcement of the Lord of all races on the entire channel again. Well, actually, breaking through a kingdom-level Lord faction could be done as long as one was strong enough. For example, the true Lord of the original Spirit race, the Great One Lord of the Chaos God race, the Heaven-chasing Lord of the Shepherd race, and other powerful lords. If they used their full strength, they might be able to break through a kingdom, but they might suffer heavy losses. Not like him. It was not an exaggeration to say that they would be easily crushed. If this could appear on the entire channel of the Lords of all races, then this announcement would be too casual. One had to know that he had obtained first place in a Lord's event and was lucky enough to appear on the announcement once. A request of this level was definitely impossible to equate to breaking through the strength of a kingdom-level Lord. Still, you can't appear on the announcement of the Lord of all races if you break through a kingdom. What about building a kingdom? What about establishing the first kingdom among the Lords of all races? Zhou Zhou thought to himself. The more he thought about it, the harder his heart pounded. There were 3 requirements for establishing a kingdom. First, possess an extraordinary tier advanced grade treasure, kingdom token. He had naturally achieved it. Secondly, it had at least 30 regional territories, and at least one of them was an extraordinary tier regional territory to be the capital of the kingdom. Zhou Zhou had reached this level. He had conquered a total of 48 territories today alone. As for extraordinary tier regional territories, the Taiyan Kingdom King was one of them. However, Zhou Zhou did not plan to set this place up as the capital of the Blazing Sun Kingdom in the future. The capital of the Blazing Sun Kingdom naturally had to be Blazing Sun City. When he returned today, he would use the Territory Fusion Certificate to fuse Blazing Sun City into an extraordinary tier regional territory. He had previously exchanged for a gradeless Territory Fusion Certificate. As long as they used it to fuse Blazing Sun City with the capital of the Taiyan Kingdom, the Blazing Sun territory would naturally be able to successfully advance to the extraordinary tier regional territory, in the capital of the Taiyan Kingdom. So be it. It was not as important as building a kingdom. As for the third condition, it was even easier to have at least 3 heroes of the same race in the kingdom who could protect the kingdom. He already had a total of 6 human heroes under his command. It had long exceeded the requirements to build a kingdom. After I return today, I'll increase the level of Blazing Sun City's regional territory, and then I can build a kingdom. Zhou thought to himself, looking forward to it. At the thought that he was going to build a kingdom tonight, Zhou's heart surged for a while before gradually calming down. Then he inadvertently glanced at it and realized that after the Lord announcement on the Cerulean planet's entire channel, a few notifications that were not so obvious appeared in front of him. Zhou looked at them one by one. Lord Talent notification. Congratulations, you have captured a kingdom and triggered the White Silver Tier Lord Talent. Embrace of the Conqueror. You have obtained the loyalty of a hero with an extraordinary tier hero fate level slot. Note: this hero is rushing to your territory. Please note the latest new subject list. The Lord of the End class hint. You have destroyed a beginner kingdom level Lord faction and collected 20% of the power of the Law of the End. The grade of the Crown of the Final has increased by another step. Current collection progress of the power of the Final Law, 0%. The Lord of the End class hint. You have destroyed a beginner kingdom level Lord faction and collected 100 points of Final Nirvana power progress. You can use 100 points of Final Nirvana power to exchange for a chance to revive after death and increase your strength greatly after revival. Current power of Final Nirvana, 100 points. Current number of resurrections, 0. The Lord of the End class hint. You have destroyed a beginner kingdom level Lord faction. A member of the Final Guard has received your summon. You can summon him. Current number of members of the Final Guard, 1. Summonable. Zhou looked at these notifications and could not help but smile. As expected, it was very beneficial to him to break through a kingdom-level faction. The loyalty of a hero with an extraordinary tier hero's fate level slot. A chance to revive. A divine kingdom soldier type. A member of the Final Guard. He only captured a beginner kingdom and already had all these opportunities that other lords did not even dare to think about. Not bad, not bad. I'll take a look at my Final Guard. Summon, he whispered. A grayish-white aura surged out of his glabella and formed a 2-meter-tall human in front of him. He wore a grayish-white helmet and grayish-white armor. He carried a grayish-white spear on his back and a grayish-white sword wrapped around his waist. His entire body emitted an aura that seemed to come from the end, making him look mysterious and serious. Greetings, my lord. He knelt on the ground and said calmly, "Get up." Zhou helped him up and looked at his personal information. Subject: Jiangyuan, Territory, Blazing Sun City, Soldier Type Class Name, Spear of the End, Strength Level, Diamond Tier Advanced Grade, Synchronized with the Lord of the End. Ability Overview: a terrifying life form born from the end of the Lord of the End's exclusive soldier type. It has a body that can be constantly reborn and has mastered the laws of shattering and instant death. Even god spirits will be afraid of their weapons. Skills: Talent, Spear Genius. Talent, Agility and Quickness. Talent, Innate Divine Power. Divine Kingdom Soldier Type Talent, Power of Destruction. Divine Kingdom Soldier Type Talent, Law of Shattering. Divine Kingdom Soldier Type Talent, Instant Death Law. Divine Kingdom Soldier Type Talent, Final Disaster Body. Diamond Tier Advanced Grade, Final Spear Technique. Diamond Tier Advanced Grade, Killing Sword Technique. Diamond Tier Advanced Grade, Diamond Tier Advanced Grade, Physical Immunity. Diamond Tier Advanced Grade, Loyalty, 100, Dead Loyal. Potential, Unknown. Zhou nodded, as expected of a Divine Kingdom Soldier type. Just like Soul Reaper Maris, they both had Divine Kingdom Soldier type talents. Unfortunately, there's only one of them. It would be even better if there were more Final Guard members. Zhou thought greedily. Then he chatted with Zhang Yuan for a while. After learning more details about his soldier type abilities, he put it back into his spiritual space between his eyebrows. This summoning and retraction method was very safe and hidden. Zhou was also very satisfied. Then, He collected the tokens of the 3 kingdom golden tokens and carefully checked the king's temple again. In the end, he did not find any other treasures. This place is too poor. Zhou looked very disdainful. Ansel, where are the treasures in the Taiyan kingdom? Do you know? Zhou asked Ansel. Treasure? That must be Taiyan's treasure vault. Ansel said without hesitation. Treasure vault? Zhou's eyes lit up. Take me there. He immediately said. Yes, your majesty. Please follow me. Ansel immediately said and brought Zhou and the other 2 to the Taiyan treasure vault. Taiyan's treasure vault. Zhou looked at the technological silver treasure vault and frowned. Things from the Machina race. He thought for a while, then his frown relaxed. The Taiyan kingdom had existed for hundreds of years. After hundreds of years of accumulation, it was not strange for there to be something. He walked to the door of the treasure vault and realized that there was a very complicated password lock on the right side of its door. Who else knows the password to this password lock other than Taiyan? Zhou asked. Taro also knows about the 4-armed Mara King. But it went out to fight with its troops previously and hasn't returned yet. I don't know any other person who may know about it. Towards the end, Ansel looked at Zhou carefully. Zhou said nothing. The 4-armed Mara King Taro had long become the hero inheritance secret manual in his hands. King Taiyan was also stabbed in the back and died. In other words, no one knew the password to open the Taiyan treasure vault. He thought for a moment and suddenly had an idea. Then, he stood on the spot and waited quietly without saying anything. 2 seconds later, a starry night suddenly flew over from afar and floated in the sky. The shadow of the spaceship enveloped Taiyan's treasure vault and everyone below. My lord, Wenya is here. Wenya's voice sounded in Zhou's mind. Can you open this treasure vault? Zhou asked. Please wait a moment. Wenya trailed off. Soon, my lord, the technology level of this treasure vault is at the diamond tier intermediate grade. With my computational ability, it will take about 39 minutes and 12 seconds to calculate the password to open it. However, it should be much faster if the Lord's Machina race clone takes action. Wenya trailed off. When Zhou heard the introduction, he felt that it was a little long. However, when he heard the last sentence, he was stunned. You mean my ultimate Lord Avatar? Zhou asked. Yes, my lord. In addition to Lord Mechanical Father's hero skills, supercalculation and hero skill, true simulation, it will be much easier for him to calculate the password to open it. When you trailed off, Zhou was a little surprised. Honestly, he had only obtained this mythical tier unique lord talent for a short period of time. He usually subconsciously ignored his abilities. If not for Wenya's reminder, he would have almost forgotten that the ultimate lord, Zhou, could also help. Without hesitation, he called out the ultimate lord, Zhou. The ultimate lord, Zhou. His strength realm had already increased to the yellow gold tier elementary grade with the help of the unified core energy. After he came out, he did not say anything else. He went straight to the door and placed his palm on the position where he had entered the password. Then, his body emitted a faint silver light, and his eyes flickered with countless silver data light. More than 10 seconds later, buzz, accompanied by a buzzing sound, the door of the Taiyan treasure vault that was still closed slowly opened, and the light of various treasures suddenly bloomed from inside. When Zhou saw this, he looked at the calm ultimate Lord Zhou in surprise. I'm best at computing, and hero skills are related to calculus. It's very easy to crack this password. The ultimate Lord Zhou said calmly. Zhou nodded and walked in with him, Suen and Guiqiao. In the treasure vault. When Zhou and the other 3 entered, they saw that this treasure vault that covered nearly 10,000 square meters was filled with all kinds of treasures. They looked over. Mist cores, equipment, skill books, pet eggs, high-level building materials, scrolls. There were all kinds of treasures, dazzling everyone. The most eye-catching thing was a small mountain more than 10 meters tall piled up by the mist cores. Zhou walked over and swept his mental strength across them. He realized that the lowest level of these mist cores was yellow gold tier. There were even 4 epic tier mist cores. There were also more than 500 extraordinary tier mist cores. Zhou was surprised. One had to know that the Taiyan kingdom did not have the heavenly mist treasure bag in his hand, so there was no way to obtain a higher-level mist core by fusing with it, which meant the extraordinary tier and epic tier mist cores in front of him were gradually accumulated through killing or trading in the hundreds of years since the Taiyan kingdom was established. They were placed in this treasure vault and could not be easily used. Perhaps the previous kings of the Taiyan kingdom wanted to use them as the last retreat route for the Taiyan kingdom. Now, it's all mine. A smile appeared on Zhou's face. He waved his right hand and put these mist cores into his heavenly mist treasure bag. Zhou also knew the total value of these mist cores when they entered his heavenly mist treasure bag. It was about the total value of 800 legendary tier mist cores. It's just so. Looks like the Taiyan kingdom is not a rich kingdom, Zhou muttered in his heart. The 30 million skill books and 50 million pieces of equipment he had sold yesterday had sold more than 1,800 legendary tier mist cores, far exceeding the pile of mist cores in front of him. However, even so, he naturally did not mind these mist cores. Then, he began to stroll around the Taiyan treasure vault. Along the way, he casually picked up a bow and arrow. This bow and arrow was completely scarlet and emitted a faint fire light. It was warm to the touch and felt very good. Zhou sized up the bow carefully and quickly realized that there was an illusory figure like a fire phoenix swimming on the bow. At the same time, the equipment information appeared. Equipment name: Scarlet Phoenix Blood Jade Bow. Equipment grade: Extraordinary Tier Elementary Grade. Equipment effect 1: Blood Phoenix Feather Arrow. Use your own energy to communicate with the Scarlet Phoenix Blood Jade Bow and condense the power of the Phoenix Blood, forming a feather-shaped arrow with the Scarlet Phoenix Spirit Fire that shoots at the enemy. The Scarlet Phoenix Spirit Fire has two characteristics: indestructibility and burning. Only spiritual water of the same level can extinguish the Scarlet Phoenix Spirit Fire. Equipment effect 2: Scarlet Phoenix Soaring Sky Arrow. Form a Scarlet Phoenix Soaring Sky Arrow to shoot at the enemy at the price of consuming the Scarlet Phoenix True Blood in the bow. The Scarlet Phoenix Soaring Sky Arrow can kill epic tier elementary grade enemies at most. This seems to be a special equipment forged with a drop of Scarlet Phoenix True Blood as the core material. The owner of this drop of Scarlet Phoenix True Blood should be a low-tier, deity-level Scarlet Phoenix. Otherwise, it's impossible to forge extraordinary tier equipment with just a drop of True Blood and unleash the power of the highest epic tier elementary grade. Zhou's gaze was sharp. He roughly understood the bow after playing with it for a while. He looked at it for a while more before putting away the bow and the 20 Blood Phoenix Feather arrows beside it. He would hand them over to Bai Yun later. Bai Yun's current strength was extraordinary tier elementary grade, and this bow was also an extraordinary tier elementary grade weapon. No one in his territory was more suitable for this equipment than Bai Yun. Then, he did not stay any longer and continued to stroll around the treasure vault. When he encountered treasures that were suitable for him or his subordinates, he would directly put them into his spatial ring so that he could use them or hand them to his subordinates in the future. During the process of looking at the treasures, Zhou also realized that this treasure vault was indeed a treasure vault. There were all kinds of treasures preserved inside. The lowest was a yellow gold tier treasure. Moreover, there were the fewest treasures of this level. White platinum tier and diamond tier treasures were the most common. As for extraordinary tier and epic tier treasures, even though there were not many of them, they were all high quality. Moreover, there were also treasures that even Zhou, the king of loots, was very surprised by. For example, the treasure in Zhou's hand. It was a blue ball of light that emitted a faint lightning glow. The blue ball of light floated in Zhou's hand. A familiar pressure emitted from its body, making him secretly shocked. This pressure, could it be? Zhou looked at it and suddenly had a guess that he could not believe. When its interface information appeared, Zhou's expression immediately became surprised and delighted. Really? Zhou muttered. Treasure name: Divine Spark Fragment, God of Glimmer. Treasure grade: Low-tier deity advanced grade. Treasure effect: The user has a chance of comprehending a law skill from the fragment of the divine persona. Treasure description. This divine spark fragment came from a god of Glimmery who became a god with the law of Glimmery in the light spirit small world. Later on, this god spirit was killed by an abyssal evil god when he came to the high continent to pursue a higher god realm. The god spirit fragment accidentally fell into the Taiyan kingdom and was obtained by the 12th king of the Taiyan kingdom. It was stored in its treasure vault as its most precious treasure. That pressure is indeed the pressure of a god spirit. Zhou looked at the divine spark fragment and thought to himself. Then he put it away. It was not convenient for him to comprehend it at this time. He would think about it when he returned. Apart from this divine spark fragment, Zhou also obtained the elemental gem resources that he had been longing for a long time. Among them, there were basic elemental gems and thunder elemental gems. His territory had the corresponding minerals and monster ranch production, so he did not lack them. However, he had obtained a lot of high-level elemental gems from the Taiyan treasury. There were 8,412 life elemental gems and 7,650 death elemental gems. With these gems, I can upgrade my territory when I go back. A smile appeared on Zhou's face. In the next half an hour, Zhou looked through the remaining treasures in Taiyan's treasure vault. In the end, he realized that there were about 30,000 treasures in this huge treasure vault. Among these treasures, there were those that Zhou was interested in and those that he was not. This is the first time I've felt that looking at treasures is boring. Zhou thought to himself with a smile on his face. It had to be said, this trip to the treasure vault had given him a taste of his own medicine. Then he turned around and looked at the treasure vault. After sized up it for a while, he suddenly asked in his heart, Ultimate, Wanya, can you take this treasure vault away? Sure. This Machina race's treasure vault has its own space compression and flying movement functions. It's not an exaggeration to say that it's a small mobile treasure vault spaceship. You only need a command to take it away. Wanya did not speak. The ultimate Lord Zhou said directly, then take it away. This is not bad. It can be used as our territory's treasure vault in the future. From now on, it will no longer be called the Taiyan Treasure Vault. It will be called the Blazing Sun Treasure Vault No. 1. Zhou immediately said, thanks to the vast amount of resources obtained by the King of Loots, he had been storing them in the territory's warehouse. Even though this territory warehouse could also store these resources, the safety was not very high, and the space was not very big. This mechanical treasury could completely replace the territory warehouse to store the excess loots for the development of the territory. That was why Zhou wanted the ultimate Lord Zhou and Wanya to research a way to create it and create a few more. Wanya and I have a lot of research quests recently. I'm afraid we don't have that much time. The ultimate Lord Zhou said. He was currently studying the mechanical technology blueprints that he had obtained from Lord Father with Wanya. He was indeed very busy. It's okay. There's no hurry about the mechanical warehouse. We can arrange for it to be researched at the end. Zhou smiled and patted his shoulder. Yes, my lord. Wanya trailed off. The ultimate Lord Zhou nodded. Then he walked to the door and placed his hand on it. Right on the heels of that, he and the treasure vault emitted a silver glow at the same time. A few seconds later, the ground trembled slightly. Then the huge Machina race treasure vault gradually floated up. Then it quickly shrank and became a palm-sized mini Machina race treasure vault. Then it flew in front of Zhou. Ansel, who had brought them here, was stunned at such a scene. Even Suin and Guiqiao, who had seen Zhou's various methods, were somewhat shocked. On the other side, Zhou looked at the mini Machina race treasure vault in front of him. He took it and looked at it curiously. Then he passed it to the Starry Night spaceship in the sky. Wanya, take it. When I return to Blazing Sun City, I'll just set it up in Blazing Sun City. Zhou said through mental communication. Yes, my lord, Wanya said respectfully. Zhou nodded and left with everyone. At this moment, the sky had already turned completely dark. The scarlet fog gradually filled the air. However, because the king city of the Taiyan kingdom had already become Zhou's territory, The Supreme Barrier and the Supreme Defense had already appeared and protected this place, preventing the Scarlet Fog from invading. After a long time, Heaven Blood Hall. On the throne, Zhou was sitting alone with his eyes closed. An invisible aura of an emperor emanated from his body. Even if he did not say anything, the others were still a little cautious and uneasy. "My lord." At this moment, Bai He's voice sounded. Zhou opened his eyes and saw Bai Yun standing at the bottom of the hall with a list. "Reporting to my lord. General Wu Xian has already led his men to attack Right Guardian City and collected all the spoils of war that are worth taking away. After that, we retrieved all the spoils of war from the monster corpses. After calculating by our quartermaster, all the spoils of war for today have been sorted out. This is the specific list. Please take a look, my lord." Bai Yun said respectfully. "Bring it up." "Yes." Bai Yun brought the list to Zhou with both hands. Zhou took it and looked at it. Today, they had occupied a total of 48 regional territories and eliminated nearly 11 million fog monsters. Among these fog monsters, other than more than 2.4 million of them being fog monster soldiers, the remaining 9 million fog monsters were all fog monster civilians. Zhou naturally had no pity for these fog monster soldiers who had not been recruited by the Insight defection and could not be persuaded to surrender through verbal communication. He directly got the soldiers to deal with them. For today's battle, it was not an exaggeration to say that they had wiped out the entire Taiyan Kingdom's fog monsters. It was really amazing. In fact, it had also brought them quite shocking benefits. With the enhancement of the King of Loots and the title of the Strongest Lord, he obtained a total of loots, 48 regional tokens, green bronze tier to extraordinary tier, 512 territory tokens, black iron tier to extraordinary tier, 140 epic tier mist cores, 3,120 extraordinary tier mist cores, 65,430 diamond tier mist cores, 162,350 white platinum tier mist cores, 1,018,920 yellow gold tier mist cores, 1,507,810 white silver tier mist cores, and 2,951,360 green bronze tier mist cores. There were 70,159,632 skill books and 111,104,521 pieces of equipment. Basic materials: 100 billion and 15 million units. 495 green bronze tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments. 156 green bronze tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments. 12 green bronze tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments. 1 epic tier Scarlet Lord Talent Sphere, and 1 extraordinary tier Scarlet Lord Talent Sphere. This was the list of loots. As for the improvement of the soldiers, there was no record of it for the time being because the Triumphal Arch hadn't passed today. He looked at the skill books and equipment on the list. Zhou thought for a moment and did not throw it into the marketplace as usual. The number of soldiers under his command could be said to be different every day. These skill books and equipment should be used on his soldiers first. After satisfying the needs of his soldiers, it would not be too late to throw the excess skill books and equipment to the marketplace to sell. How's the construction of the spatial teleportation array going? Zhou looked up and asked. Master Jing Hongzi is building a spatial teleportation array. It should be ready by tonight, Bai Yun said respectfully. Zhou nodded and said, "Then let the soldiers stay here for the night and arrange the things here. We'll bring the soldiers back to Blazing Sun City tomorrow morning. Leave this matter to one of your subordinates. Call Wu Xian, Wu Tu, Feng Luo, Luo Shang, and the other important generals over. They'll return to the Blazing Sun territory with me later. I have something important to do. You have to be there," Zhou said in a low voice. The major event he was talking about was naturally the establishment of the first beginner kingdom of the human race on the Cerulean planet. This was a major matter that concerned the entire territory, so he naturally could not do it alone. "Yes, my lord," Bai Yun said respectfully. She could vaguely guess what her lord was going to do, and a trace of passion flashed in the depths of her eyes. Then, she didn't waste any time and immediately turned around to call for help. A moment later, in an empty space in the palace. Baiyun, Wu Xian, Feng Luo, Wu Tu, Luo Shang, Suin, Guoqiao, Nazario, Auguste, Maris, all the important generals and subordinates who had followed Zhou since the establishment of Blazing Sun territory gathered here. Zhou looked at them and suddenly felt a surge of ambition in his heart. These were all the people who fought for the position of Lord of all races and chased after the Lord of all races. And this was only the beginning. In the future, his territory team would definitely continue to expand. All kinds of experts, generals, strategists, geniuses, they would all gather here and help him ascend to the higher peak of the lords of the myriad races. Let's board the ship. Let's return to Blazing Sun City. Yes, everyone shouted. Then, they no longer hesitated and flew into the starry night that they had been waiting for a long time. Zhou entered last. Then, he chanted return to the city in his heart. The spaceship carrying Zhou and the Blazing Sun Territory's generals and experts suddenly vanished into thin air. The Blazing Sun Territory. Under the Supreme Barrier. It was a peaceful time when all the houses were lit up. The Blazing Sun Territory was still very lively even though it was already very late. On the well-planned streets, the lifestyle professional subjects were doing their best to sell their goods. The other subjects were on the streets, chatting and laughing as they shopped and walked. It looked like a scene from the peaceful times. At this moment, a huge silver-black spaceship suddenly appeared in the sky. It was the starry night. Many subjects were used to this. Many of them looked at the spaceship with admiration and yearning. His lordship is back. His lordship is really busy. He comes back so late every day. But it's also because of this that we can live such a peaceful and happy life. I've already hired a craftsman to build a Lord statue at home and pray to the Lord every day. Haha. What a coincidence. It's the same at my house. Me too. Everyone laughed and discussed. On the other side, after Zhou brought his men down from the spaceship, he gave Baiyun an order. Baiyun, Wu Xian, go and invite Vice City Lord Zheng and the important officials of the other territories over. Then, go to the administrative hall and let them discuss the development of the kingdom. Our kingdom will be established tonight. Get Vice City Lord Zheng and the others to discuss it and come up with a rough plan for the future development of the kingdom. I'll give you 2 hours to discuss it slowly. Don't be anxious. It doesn't matter if you don't have enough time. You can slowly perfect it in the future. I just want to see your general thoughts on how to develop the kingdom in the future. In the next 2 hours, I will prepare for the establishment of the kingdom. I'll look for you after I'm done here, Zhou said. When Baiyun, Wu Xian, and the others heard this, even though they were already prepared, they still felt pleasantly surprised when they really heard it. Oh my God! Blazing Sun territory is about to become a kingdom. While they were excited, they were also emotional. How long had it been since their lord arrived in the high continent? 20 days tops, but he had already established a kingdom. These things did not happen even in novels. Even though he was supported by the supreme will, their lord's unbelievable territorial development methods were the important reason why they could reach their current state in such a short period of time. It could be said that the Blazing Sun territory wouldn't be where it was today without their lord. Even though they had played a lot of roles in this process, they were still far inferior to the lord's methods. Yes, I'll go now, Baiyun and the others said respectfully, then went to look for someone. Seeing this, Zhou also returned to his beginner-grade Lord's Paradise. In the study room of the beginner-grade Lord's Paradise, Zhou sat on the chair behind the desk. He was not in a hurry to establish a kingdom. Instead, he took out the 48 regional tokens he had obtained today and integrated them into his territory stone tablet. Then he waited quietly. A moment later, Zhou, who did not hear anything, raised his eyebrows slightly. He has more than 50 regional territories, but he didn't trigger a new lord announcement on the entire Cerulean planet? Do I need 70 seats? Or 100 seats? He muttered to himself in confusion. The last time he fused with 30 regional territories, he triggered an all-channel lord announcement. He originally thought that more than 50 regional territories would be triggered again this time, but he did not expect it to not succeed. At this moment, a line of words that surprised him suddenly appeared in front of him. Supreme will notification. When the number of regional territories owned by a lord exceeds 30, the basic conditions for establishing a beginner kingdom have been reached. If you obtain more regional territories now, you will not be able to obtain the Lord Announcement achievement for the entire channel. At this moment, the only way for the Lord to obtain the Lord Announcement achievement was to advance further and conquer kingdom-level Lord factions. Zhou frowned slightly, so that was how it was. Then the difficulty would be much higher. After thinking for a while, he shook his head and stopped thinking about it. With his current Lord faction, it was not difficult for him to conquer more kingdom-level Lord factions. With his current Lord faction, it was not difficult for him to conquer more kingdom-level Lord factions. Then, he took out the supreme treasure chest rewarded by the Lord Announcement on the Cerulean planet. After opening the supreme treasure chest, he realized that there were 3 familiar crystals inside. Zhou's eyes widened. These 3 crystals were 3 Holy Spirit Tier Faith Divine Crystals. The supreme treasure chest is indeed worthy of its name. They really give me what I want. He looked at the 3 Holy Spirit Tier Faith Divine Crystals and could not help but smile. He now had a total of 5 Holy Spirit Tier Faith Divine Crystals. Apart from the 2 heroes who were going to be used to revive the Night Temple, he could keep the other 3 Holy Spirit Tier Faith Divine Crystals for himself. This way, if he and the people around him died in the future, he could use it to revive directly. Then, he put away the 3 Holy Spirit Tier Faith Divine Crystals and took out an orange crystal and a purple crystal. They were the Extraordinary Tier Scarlet Lord Talent Sphere and the Epic Tier Scarlet Lord Talent Sphere. The latter had dropped from King Taiyan. The former was obtained from the Scarlet Lord of one of the 48 regional territories in the Taiyan Kingdom. Zhou first purified the 2 of them before looking at their attributes. Treasure name, Lord Talent Sphere, King's Treasure Box, Treasure Grade. Extraordinary Tier, Treasure Effect. After absorbing it, the Lord will have an Extraordinary Tier Lord Talent, King Treasure Box. Treasure Description. A Lord Talent Sphere purified by the Supreme Will. You can obtain a yellow gold tier Lord Talent after absorbing it. Treasure name, Lord Talent Sphere, Talent Intuition. Treasure Grade. Epic Tier, Treasure Effect. After absorbing it, the Lord will have an Epic Tier Lord Talent. Talent Intuition. Treasure Description. A Lord Talent Sphere purified by the Supreme Will. After absorbing it, you can obtain an Epic Tier Lord Talent. King's Treasure Box? Innate Intuition? Zhou was delighted.